Welcome back to the Well Below Average podcast, episode number 73, third of this season. And Nick Nepic's here with us. As always, I'm Adam Ish, and we're glad you're here. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing well. We survived the ice, snow, cold apocalypse of 2022 thus far. So happy about that, and glad to be back to our normal 50s and 60s Texas winter weather here.
Definitely. So last year, after all that mess, for those who don't know, we basically shut down the state, no power for a week, in and out. So I went and bought a RV generator. It runs on either gas or propane. I brought a couple of propane tanks. I was ready. I wasn't gonna freeze this year. I have a little standalone heating unit I use in my garage for my small business. I figured out how to wheel it in the house and get it all set up, and we're gonna have heat. If anything, we're gonna have heat and not sit here and freeze to death. So glad we didn't have to bust that out.
Yeah, I didn't get out on the roads, but they seemed pretty bad. What was that, Thursday and Friday morning? And then by Friday afternoon, they were pretty well clear. And, yesterday, totally fine with the temperatures. But yeah, we made it through. Here we are. I did get COVID. My wife, if you listened to last week's show, my wife had it. I survived 2 tests. Let me get my mask out. I survived 2 tests came back negative on both. And then late Wednesday night, I started to get a little congested, have a little throat drainage. But, that happens. We talked about this. That happens all the time when it's
Right.
gets really cold. But then, pretty late in the night, my wife I've been sleeping in separate rooms anyway. I took some NyQuil just to help me sleep. But then I woke up and had a really, a lot of head congestion and headache, and couldn't go get a test because it was Thursday and the roads were awful. But we just assumed that I had it. Kind of stayed in my own space, actually in this room for a little while for that whole day. But by the end of the day on Thursday, I felt totally fine. So we went and got tested yesterday at Walgreens, and still my wife is still positive with no symptoms, and I'm positive as well. So here we are. I feel fine, feel great. Baby's also still good, but we're kind of in that, I guess what the CDC is saying is after 5 days you can go out and about and you're not really contagious, but they recommend a mask. So my wife is in that, and in my 5th day is tomorrow. So here we are. But we luckily, obviously didn't feel good, but didn't feel horrible. Didn't have to have a test or anything like that when the roads were so bad. So yeah, we made it and survived. And now I look at it this way. Now I'm as immune as I could be. I'm boosted and I've had COVID. So and I'm assuming I got the new variant because I didn't lose taste or smell or anything like that. So that wasn't so bad either.
Well, I think it just means your vaccine and booster work.
Right.
You didn't really get sick.
I felt sick. I need to stay in bed for maybe 12 hours total. Maybe not even that long. And that was it. So I'll take it.
Yeah, we actually got the home tests. They sent us some. The Biden ones. I haven't used them yet, but we have some. So I'm hanging on to them until we start feeling some of those.
Those are the 2 that I took that both came back negative. Was 2 of those. My wife took 2 as well, so I'm sure she was positive. So we used those pretty quickly, but they were accurate. So here we are. But we're both feeling good now. Happy to not have any symptoms, and hope be on the back end of everything.
I'm glad to hear that. I don't wish anybody sick. So glad you're well enough to jump on and do the show. We do have a couple of sponsors before we get deeper into this we should talk about. I'll go first and talk about the local Menace. It's a Dallas-based artist-owned streetwear brand. They have hats, t-shirts, hoodies, all kinds of clothing. Very artistically based. The owner, Justin, is an amazing artist. Check them out at localmenace.com and use our code, which is Beard Crew. I'm the only one with the beard here. course, you look not so shaven today.
Yeah, I'm just not clean shaven today.
But use Beard Crew and you get a 25% discount. It's a huge discount. It lets them know we sent you. You get a nice big discount. Helps out a local business. We're all about shopping small here, so check them out at localmenace.com.
And then, of course, we have Rodeo Coffee, the black T-shirt behind Adam there. Small batch roasted right here in Fort Worth. You can check them out and order bags of coffee online. You can also check out their new coffee truck, new as in, I think they're almost a month in now, over here in Fort Worth in the Walsh Ranch neighborhood, which is like kind of near Aledo-ish. But you can get espresso drinks, lattes, cappuccinos, things like that. But check them out. They're blowing up. They're on Instagram, all that stuff, and they post when they're open, where they're at, all those kinds of things, and where you can get their delicious bags of coffee.
I need to get some more because I got a new coffee maker for Christmas. I told you about this?
No.
So it's one side is just a normal coffee pot, and then it's got the other side that's the pods, but it's got all the adapters so you can use anything in it. So it's pretty neat. I like it. I really wanted it, got it for my daughter and wife, like their teas and different weird coffees. So, they use the pod side more than I do.
There you go. Get multi-use out of it. Yeah. When I was sick, I drank some tea, and I haven't had tea in quite some time. Wasn't great. No, I don't have like a teapot, so I just boiled some water. But I don't mind tea, but coffee's definitely way better.
Like how it really seems like you're either a coffee person or a tea person. It's like,
yeah,
drink some tea, wasn't great.
Yeah, like tea, like some green tea, put a lot of honey in it, like it really helps, like if your throat's really hurting. But it doesn't taste all that good. So stick with coffee, and Rodeo Coffee can be, check them out.
Your coffee of choice. But let's get into our first segment, as we typically do, Explore or Snore. Our news segment, and for those of you who don't know, I will read off a headline, and Nick will decide whether we explore, it's good, we like it, or to snore, this is boring. All right, let's get it. And I'm standing up again today, so if you see me wobbling around, yeah, that's what's happening. So don't be too concerned. All right, this is kind of a serious one. We just came off our 20-year war in Iraq, which I spent about a year of my life over there, a year and a half. But top Biden aide says Ukraine invasion could come any day. So if I'm keeping up with it, there is a tension in Russia.
Yeah, we can go ahead and explore this. We dip into some serious topics. The big thing is that the last time Putin invaded was the 2014 Olympic Games, and so people are thinking like, oh, it's the Olympics, maybe he'll invade a different country this time. I have a friend who his parents were actually missionaries to Ukraine, and he lived in Ukraine for about 9 years, and his dad still goes back often, still helps run a nonprofit there, and he's there right now, and he did like a Facebook video from there saying like, why did you go? He was like, well, it was already planned. Like, we've been planning this for months. We had things to do. And he said that this is kind of normal. Like the threat of Russia has kind of always been that way ever since Ukraine broke away, gained independence, all those things. And so it's not unique. And he said, like, you just haven't been following it. Like it just hasn't been covered because this has always been the case. Now, probably a little bit ramped up now, but he wasn't all too concerned, although, if something happens, I'm sure that changes. But to him, it was more of the same, and just kind of how Putin has been forever. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the article touches on. I guess the biggest thing is they've seen that there's 70% of the military has mobilized, Russian military has mobilized, and they're the White House think that's a sign of an invasion coming. So they're saying it's kind of imminent what's going to happen. I know Biden sent troops somewhere in the area recently, which that's typically not something that's done lightly. So be interesting. I know this administration does not play well with Russia like the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that it's on the news every day. And so until it's resolved or until something happens, it's going to be there. Hopefully nothing happens. That would be ideal, but, we'll see. Did you see, not to make light of this, but on a lighter note, during the opening ceremonies of the Olympics, when they showed Ukraine, they like panned over to Putin, who was there, and he was like dozed off, like asleep. And I don't know if he was like trolling Ukraine, like he's just like sitting like this, or if he was actually asleep. But that's what happened during the opening ceremony.
See, it would have been better if he had like a newspaper up. That would have been. I remember, in high school we had when I was in JV, junior varsity, we had one pep rally, one JV pep rally, and all the seniors that were in the stands all opened papers during our pep rally.
Pretty good. That's not bad.
Show their dislike of us getting the underclassmen getting recognition.
Yeah, but hopefully nothing happens at that border of Ukraine and Russia. But we'll see.
Yeah, let's hope. Not a big fan of the war. Okay, where am I? I'm here. All right. Next story. Pawtuxet Phil predicts 6 more weeks of winter. That's the headline. Probably most of the story.
Yeah, Groundhog Day. Do you have any major thoughts on Groundhog Day? Because I really don't. I didn't even know. I mean, I know it's a movie, but doesn't he like always see his shadow? Something like 80% of the time. There's always more winter. Something like that.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It was always, as a kid, I guess it was more captivating than it is as an adult. As a kid, it was like, come on, summer. Now it's like, I'm an adult. I have things to worry about than the weather. They do like a big celebration in Pennsylvania where they have all this, and it's like a big party. So maybe it's a good time. I don't know. They still dress up like all how they did way back when. But he always sees a shadow. We always have more winter. Although in Texas, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. We kind of go from hot, cold. We might still have some really cold nights. And then we just switch to like severe weather, really muggy, and then all of a sudden it's the surface of the sun for about 3.5, 4 months in Texas. That's sort of our shift from winter, where we really truly we have like 2 full weeks of like solid winter days. I feel like we have a lot of days that are like this, like 55, 60 degrees. We don't have many days where it stays cold during the day. Yeah. Not really. I've been I joined an exercise program challenge thing, and it's been really nice when I go out and do my workouts because it's 55 and I go in with my hoodie on. By the end of it, I'm in t-shirts,
right.
Sweatpants rolled up because it's like 55, and so you get moving. It's not bad. It actually feels pretty good.
Yeah.
I had an issue this morning. My plumbing stopped up, and I know how to fix it, but like where the sun comes up from my house, so the front of my house faces the north, like right around the front edge of my house is still snowy and it's ice, and that's where all my little like clean outs are. So that was fun this morning, trying to break open all the clean outs.
Yeah, but Punxsutawney Phil, it's whatever. Groundhog Day is not a bad movie. I'll give him that.
No, great movie. I could live with that. Next story. Trump responds to Pence criticism.
I actually didn't see this. I saw Pence respond initially saying that he couldn't have overturned the election because I guess Trump had said he could. Is this a response to that, or did I just reveal the story?
No, it is a response to Pence's criticism. So you want to give us a backstory on Pence?
Well, all that I saw was that because Trump it was actually at a rally in Texas, maybe last week, went on more about saying Vice President Pence could have overturned the election. This was on him, blah, 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 whatever. And then all I know is that Pence came out and said maybe this past week that he actually couldn't, like he had no authority to do that. Something like that.
Yeah. So Pence, for the first time, has kind of stepped up and said, oh, Trump's wrong. And he called him wrong, flat out, which you kind of wish he had been a little more willing to do that during his vice presidency. Of course, Trump was kind of known to fire people without much due process. So basically the response was, Trump says, just saw Mike Pence's statement on the fact that he had no right to do anything with respect to electoral vote count other than being an automatic conveyor belt for the old crow, Mitch McConnell, to get Biden elected president as quickly as possible. So,
I mean, stick to your guns. If you're gonna do the whole bit, not just carry it out throughout, forever. Do you think this is way early, very political? Do you think Trump's going to run again? He talks like he's going to.
I think he's going to try, but I don't think he'll be nominated by his party. I think he's pretty divisive within the Republicans now, especially after he lost and started kind of turning on everybody that just blanketly fall in line with him.
He certainly talks like he's interested. 3 years from now is a long time.
Yeah, I just enjoy seeing Trump still take L's a year after he left the office.
It's it's ridiculous that he was the president. It still makes me laugh. Like, the statements are funny to me. It's like a real life SNL bit, So anyway, that's far too much politics for the first 20 minutes of the show.
Let's see. Okay, last Explore Snore. Is Florida home to be sold in novel, non-fungible token deal?
We've explored everything, and I don't know what most of those words are, so I'm going to say we snore this one.
Good, because I read the article and I have a very, 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 very limited grasp on what it's actually talking about.
We don't claim to know a lot on this show.
But we claim to pretend that we might know something. All right. Well, that's our Explore Snore segment. The next segment, do we have a Nick Hates It?
No, I don't have much as way of contributing because I've been sick this week, trying to manage taking care of a baby with a mask on in the house most of the time, which she hates. Like, she tries to take them off, which is frustrating. So don't have any Nick Hates It for this week. I will bring something next week. I'll bring the vitriol and the fire next week.
Burn it down. We'll burn it down next week. We do have a lot of entertainment and sports news. It's kind of heavy on that. First off, let's get into the thing that brings us together, brings us such joy, and that's Cobra Kai, Season 4, Episode 5. Let's dig into it.
I watched this one actually on my COVID day, stuck in bed. I thought this was a very good episode. I really enjoyed it. I think the season is picking up steam. The Daniel and Johnny feud kind of came to a head faster than we thought. Like, they had their battle, which I thought was great. Loved that. The Terry Silver started to become more of a character. All those things. I think there was still groundwork being laid for like later in the season type stuff, but we also saw some big moments. Thought this was a really good one. They stacked several good episodes in a row, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you think Silver is going to? I don't know much about Karate Kid 3. I need to probably go back and watch it, especially since my son is now into all this. He's actually finished. I was thinking about bringing him on when we do the last episode.
Yes, I am about it.
He's big into it. He's like, "Have you watched it yet?" Because he wants to talk to me about it. No, I'm doing one episode at a time. But he's probably watched the 4th season 3 times already. But he hadn't seen the movies. We're watching the movies together. We watched part 1 this last week. But is Silver, do you think is he gonna revert back to what he was in that movie, or do you think he will kind of? Because in this episode, even when they went to the Miyagi-Do, he still seemed real level-headed.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, what I think might happen, think back to when Kreese went to him and went to his house and all this stuff, and he rejected him, he pushed him away. But then he goes down to get the bottle of wine, and he has that moment where he kicks the wine, smashes on the wall, like he kind of snapped. Maybe we have some of that. Like he snaps back to like the third movie, which he's a very like, he's kind of very snaky. Like he gets Daniel in, like very nice guy, like, oh, you're so great. And then he like is angry and like, not like Kreese, bad guy all the time, kind of like a Two-Face kind of thing. And I think we could see that out of him. You know, so we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't warn you for spoilers. I don't think we gave any away yet so far. So from this point on, there's going to be spoilers. It kind of happened towards the end. I think it was the very last scene, wasn't it, when Hawk showed up with his
mm-hmm. Yeah, the Cobra Kai got him and led. You know, we'll see. Shaved his head.
Yeah, which I guess was a response to Tori's issues with.
Well, that was remember the sprinklers on the baseball field. I think that's what they were getting back. Yeah.
Right, I forgot. Yeah. Good episode. I loved Johnny's training montage.
Oh yeah, that was good. I thought that was great.
It was like everything, like all the Miyagi stuff, kicking the waves, but it was just terrible.
His character and like the bits, like how he's just like completely out of touch with everything is hilarious to me. His Twitter rant to one follower is so good. I really like what they've done with his character. I thought it was great. Real funny. One thing that I think that is good about this is I don't have any idea who's going to win the All Valley. Like they really haven't given any indication like, oh, there's one main character that, especially among the students, obviously they've kind of split it. We'll see. So I thought it was a good one. It took a lot for me to not watch the rest of the season while I was laying in bed, just trying to not, my head not explode when I was not feeling well. But I really liked this one. Thought it was good. There's some funny moments as well. So looking forward to moving through the rest of it.
Yeah. So episode 6 next week. I think we're gonna have to see. I don't think it happens next week, but something's gonna have to happen with Johnny and Daniel's relationship because it's too up and down for that to work much longer. So the kids seem to be getting along. The kids seem to be benefiting from seeing two different sides of the training. So so we're looking forward to that. But the big news: Netflix released the most unnecessary movie in the history of movies. Now, they've done this a lot, but we're going to talk a little bit about the Happy Madison-produced Kevin James vehicle, Home Team.
So I have not watched this. I was going to, but I do have a lot of thoughts on it because I'm very familiar. And let me start off by saying, a couple weeks ago, whenever it came out, we're like looking for something to watch. I was like, "Can we watch a movie tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Whatever. You have anything you want to watch?" And she's like, "Oh, well, there's this football movie that's out. Like, you probably like it." I'm like, "Oh yeah, what's it called?" She's like, "Home Team." And I was like, "Oh, I haven't heard of it." I knew about the Kevin James, Sean Payton thing, but I didn't know what it was called. She's like, "Okay, let me find it. Let me pull it up." So she gets on Netflix, pulls it up, and I see it. I'm like, no. And she's like, "I think it's a comedy." I'm like, "No, I don't think it's a comedy. I think it's like serious. It's probably terrible. So please." Can we not watch it? And then us being sick, I just haven't been able to watch it this week. But thankfully, you took the bullet for the podcast. You sacrificed your time and want for entertainment and did watch this movie.
So I'm not gonna lie, I spent a good majority of the movie watching TikToks. After the first, it's so weird. So first off, one of the first scenes is you got the assistant to Sean Payton coming in and like, "There's a Mr. Goodall for you on the phone." He's like, "You mean Roger Goodell, the commissioner?" "Well, I didn't ask his job." How does the head coach of the NFL's assistant not know who the commissioner of the league is?
So is this movie, is it like serious? Like it's supposed to be serious, feel good, or like did they try to make it supposed to be funny? I mean,
So it's lighter than, it's not serious. It's lightly done. You know, it's a Happy Madison. Adam Sandler produced it. Um, it's kind of got that feel to it in some ways, but yeah, it's supposed to be a accurate portrayal of the year he got suspended from football and went and coached his son's middle school team. It was real bad.
Oh gosh.
And
now, did your son watch this one with you, or did any of your kids watch this one?
No. I think my son started out watching it, and I think he quickly vanished.
I was going to say, like, what was his perspective if he watched the movie?
I don't think he was there long enough to get any perspective. I think it was one of those, like, I could see him just, like, tossing. I'm like, you can go if you want. And he was a poof of smoke. So, I may have to try to get him to sit down and watch it and see what he says, but I don't think it's really a kid's movie. And it seems like such a miss, because it's not really aimed for kids.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a story that he cares about. I guess the big thing is, you know, it's the story really is, you know, Sean Payton and his son reconcile. I guess they, at that point in time, he was divorced from his wife. They lived in Argyle, Texas, which I guess he still lives there now, in the off season. But they haven't really connected, you know, for years, because he's been in New Orleans coaching, and it's that, but it's like it really portrays Argyle as a small town, which it kind of is, but it's also.
Well, it also, like, it used to be. Like, it is very much like basically the Metroplex at this point.
Yeah, and this was like 2012-ish? Oh, it's not that long ago. You know, the bit where he's checking in. So there's spoilers. I don't care. It's not that great of a movie. It's heartbroken over me spoiling.
We're saving you time with these spoilers. So
he shows up to the hotel in Argyle, and the only room available is the presidential suite. And he's like, that's fine. And the guy's like, $125, pretty expensive. Do you not know who Sean Payton is? Like,
well, even for like the normal person, like $125 for a hotel room anywhere in Dallas-Fort Worth for a decent hotel, not bad. Like, that's pretty standard.
Well, it's like goofy. Like, he calls to complain about the noise, and like, oh, that's our super presidential suite. There's guys from SMU in there. So you're all, oh, the SMU guys are here, but the head coach for the Saints is in.
And I think this is an indictment on Adam Sandler. No Happy Madison movie, like any of his, like these type of movies, he hasn't put out a good film in a long time to me, unless I'm forgetting one.
I was looking, actually, I looked that up while I was watching it. It's been pretty. Now he's got the Netflix deal, his production company, so he's only making movies for Netflix right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he's just trying to crank out stuff to meet his obligation.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not good. We watched Happy Gilmore while we were sick. Great movie. Like classic. Hadn't seen it in several years. But man, it is not working for Adam Sandler anymore.
No,
unfortunately.
I know he's pushing 60, which probably shouldn't be playing Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison. Of course, I think he could reprise Billy Madison for people. It's like a washed-up golfer or something. I don't know. But yeah, like standalone movies that he's not in, that he just helps produce. Grandma's Boys, probably the best one I've seen of those.
Yeah.
And that was even kind of. But no. Speaking of classic movies, I know we're a rabbit trail here, but I've introduced my son. I tried to do Happy Gilmore. No, not for 9-year-olds yet. I probably watched it at that age. But we watched Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber this week.
Oh man, which Ace Ventura? The Pet Detective? Okay, I loved those movies. Probably when I was like your son's age, maybe a little bit older, but I loved Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber as well. But those are did the comedy hold up for him?
Oh my god! Like I left the room at one point. It was the scene in Dumb and Dumber when he's peeing in the bottles and they get pulled over and the cop drinks it. I walked out, did something. I could just hear him laughing across the house.
Oh,
he drank the bean. He drank the bean. So excited.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, those are great. Those are great movies. And this is like, I feel like the old man, yelling at the clouds. I feel like comedy then, like there's some raunchy like stuff in certain movies, like some toe the line, but like there's a lot of like solid, somewhat clean, potty humor style comedy. Like today, I just don't feel like there's as much of that, and so it makes those movies more enjoyable.
Yeah, and I don't know. I wonder. I don't want to get off on this topic too much, but is it because there's such a vacuum for content that you're not getting these type of efforts from writers or creative types?
Yeah, it's probably something like, I mean, that has to have something to do with it. And we just, that shock value, is what people want. So
that's our TV movie talk, entertainment talk. So we have a debate. I have a debate topic for us. We haven't done a debate this year in quite a while, actually, but I see this sometimes. I'm going to ask you right now. Are you a make the bed in the morning person, or just let it fly?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you the last time I made the bed. Maybe if people are coming over, we'll make the bed, but never, especially in the morning, never make the bed. Get out of bed, you're done with it.
Okay. I wish you took the other side. I was a make the bed in the morning person. After the military, you have to.
I was gonna say, is that the military just rubbing off on after military life?
It did early. I liked, it was like get up, get going, get the bed made, get dressed, get everything all squared away. But I was like 26 when I got to the military. That was a little different. Now I'm 38. It's like, I don't know, nothing. Well, me and my wife, like, we have our own blankets. We don't even have like a set of blankets. Like, we don't have a comforter set or anything like that. We have
a comforter set. We don't use it. Because I sleep with a weighted blanket, so I have that. My wife has her own blanket.
And I guess that's not as weird. I always thought that was weird. Like, I had my own blanket, she has hers, and a weighted blanket. And fine with me, like.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
And it was easier to make the bed. Like, we have our king size bed, and it's pushed into a corner. So like, it's such a pain to.
You got to get to like one side, yeah. And even if not, like it's a pain to. I mean, it's a pain to make the bed, especially if it's not just one. If you have I used to do this as a teenager. Like the sheets all crumpled up underneath, and you just pull the comforter, straighten it out, cover everything up. You're good to go. You can't. That doesn't always fly. So yeah, making the bed I think is. I won't say a waste of time, but it's something that I don't do, and I roll my eyes at the people. Like there's the Navy guy that's written the book that's like. Start with making your bed every day. Like that's the journey to success. And I just roll my eyes and stuff like that. Like get out of my face. I can, do whatever I want. I don't have to make my bed. But I know there are people that, that's sinful. Not really, but you know what I mean? To not make your bed in the morning.
Well, anybody out there wants to argue with us, hit up Nick. Hit up a Well Below Average podcast on Twitter and let us know your bed making, preferences. Not much of a debate there. We gotta do better. So we got sports, and we'll close it out after that. A couple of things. I want to get your Super Bowl pick. Who are you picking in the Super Bowl?
As of today, a week before, I'll take the Rams. Which is funny. I picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season. And then I picked them to lose because I didn't think 2 years in a row a team would win in their home stadium. But I think they will edge out the Bengals, though. I didn't think I thought the Bengals would lose pretty handily to the Chiefs. And that's how the game started out. But they just have some sort of magic right now, and it's just working for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals win it, but I will pick the Rams as we sit here today.
See, I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I feel like they, like you say, oh, the pass rush for the Rams. Burrow's been on his back all year, right?
Oh yeah, running for his life basically every game.
And it doesn't seem to bother them. They seem to still go up there and put 30 up easily. Now Rams could do the same thing. I just feel like Stafford is more prone to the mistake.
I think that is the X factor, right? Stafford threw 17 picks this season, won a game, 17 games. He is prone to that. That is the X factor. Same thing with like Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Like he was bound to make mistakes. He did against the Rams, cost them the game. Almost gave the Cowboys the game back with his interceptions. Stafford is not much different. The Rams have a little bit more experience, big game experience. I think Jalen Ramsey is also huge, having him on the outside. But the Bengals defense is, I think, slightly underrated. Mike Hilton, former Steeler, sad to see him go. He's their nickel corner, playing the slot, great against the run. He will probably cover, a litany of guys, but he'll cover Cooper Kupp some if he's in the slot. He does a great job. They have a decent pass rush as well. Good secondary. I think the Bengals have a chance, but I will pick the Rams. Although I think it will be a good game. I hope anyway. It's a good game. We've had some boring Super Bowls lately. Last year's kind of a blowout, pretty boring. 2 years ago was that Chiefs 49ers. That wasn't a bad game, but then before that, I think it was that the Rams and the Patriots. That game was terrible. So hopefully
Super Bowl of all time, that one.
Right, like 13-3. So hopefully we get a good game. I think the Rams have a few more weapons, but we'll see. I was glad to see the Chiefs not make it personally. Just give you something different to watch, a different team in there. So we'll see. It's crazy that the season's almost over. I'm already counting down to the draft and next year and all those things. And I know we'll get into the draft as it gets closer, but I'm already looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've been doing some preliminary draft stuff, just reading over some things, but I don't want the Rams to win because I feel like the way they put their team together and winning.
I was going to ask you this. I was going to ask if it bothers you.
It
like their style, because it's so different.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me so much as I don't want it to be successful because I feel like Jerry Jones will look at it and say, let's try it.
Well, and here's the thing. Jerry Jones, I'm not making this like a death thing, but he's not going to be around as the Cowboys head man much longer. And he has said he'll do anything for a Super Bowl. Well, if we see the Rams, who don't have a first-round pick for like 3 more years or something like that, trade away picks, add guys, go get OBJ, and win a Super Bowl. Like, why would other teams not try that? Now, the flip side of that argument is you mortgage your future, and if it doesn't work, like if you lose the Super Bowl, now your future is screwed and you've got nothing to show for it. So, there's two sides of it, but I don't think you're far off because certainly other teams would try to do the same.
Mm-hmm. I think the only difference with Dallas is they have a quarterback, so it's not like they have to give up multiple first rounders to get that guy. But man, I'd hate to see Jerry mortgage in the future to grab in, safeties and interior linemen, defensive linemen. That's a lot to give up the future for. So
yeah.
That would be my only fear. Let's see. We had some excitement in the Mavs game yesterday, day before. Luka. We talked about Luka's weight last week, and he dunked and broke the rim.
Yeah, I did. That was 2 nights ago. Sorry, the days have been running together. We were texting about that earlier. Like the days are just, I don't know what day it is. That game started super late, like 9:15, and then it was delayed because of like the rim getting broken, and it was like icy roads. Like people were out super late for that game. But the Mavs beat the 76ers. They play the Hawks in like 45 minutes. So we play again here soon. But yeah, beat the 76ers without KP, which is a big deal. Luka went off, had a couple of cool dunks. Big win for them. I'm still not a Mavs fan. I remember I professed that. I'm a Luka fan, root for the players. I'm anti-Mark Cuban as the Mavs owner until things change. So that's where we sit today. But nonetheless, happy for Luka. That was awesome to see. And he continues to have a great season. And maybe using that lack of an all-star starter as some motivation there.
Yeah. The Mavs team, not that I've got to watch a lot, seems a lot different. And I think they're one of the better defensive teams now. Is that what I'm
saying? Yeah, their defense has been great. Mm-hmm.
So you could see that paying off for playing well in the playoffs. Assume they're going to get there. And mention something about Olympics. You want to talk Olympics? I don't know nothing about Olympics.
Meh. I mean, I'm glad they're on. I'll watch some of the stuff, but I'm not super invested.
And then I found this new sport, possibly my favorite sport.
Okay.
So let's try. I got a video here. It's the PFC, the Pillow Fighting Championship. So we have here a man dressed in Joker face. I'll play the video. We can talk over. It's only about 20 seconds long, but.
Are they both? First of all, are they both the Joker here, or does he just have green hair and one's the Joker?
I think he just has green hair. And look at him. He's trying to duck out of the way. He's just getting nailed.
Oh. Does that count as a knockout?
I don't know.
What's the scoring here? Play that again.
Play that again. All right, let's go back to the beginning.
All right.
He's blocking those shots.
He's taunting him a little bit here. Do you know what country this is in?
I think America.
Okay. And just a smash right there to the face.
I know.
Now, maybe if your knee touches, it's a point or something. I don't know. Is that a 5 that he held up there?
Maybe. And so the same guy with the Joker, I saw another video where I think it was a championship match, where the guy lost his pillow and then he started wailing on him and then they got in a fight. And it was they were really mad over a pillow fight. They got broke up in the ring and everything. So
Man, it's crazy the stuff that exists. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but here we are.
Well, that's
Are pillow fights still a thing? Does your son? He's 9. Does he ever pillow fight and smack me with a pillow? We
fight. We wrestle a lot, and he'll use the pillow. That's our steel chair, so he hit me with the pillow, and I'm on a hit with it halfway down. We'll fight with pillows every now and then, but it's not pillow fight. And I really lay into him with the pillow. My one time to really put some back into it with him. But
yeah, I had no idea that existed until, I guess you sent it to me earlier, but until this week.
And now I'm seeing it all over the place, probably because that's the way it works. But I'll bring in some video if I run across any interesting. We'll have to play them every now and again. But that's all I have. Nick, do you have anything else for us?
No, hopefully next week, Super Bowl week, I don't have COVID. And we're through all this. Starting a significant change in diet this week, going minimal carbs. In fact, probably no carbs. A lot of meats, fruits, vegetables, cutting out fast food. So I gorged some fast food earlier today. It was phenomenal. And yeah, here we are. We were supposed to have a Disney trip this week. It got canceled, or this weekend. My wife's parents live near Orlando, so that got canceled, rescheduled to April. So COVID has kind of just ruined everything for us. So here we are, and hopefully next week, we're back to normal.
I hope y'all get the feeling better. Thanks everybody for watching, and until we see you next time, stay above average.
Please hang up and try again.